Alrighty, it is the second day of deer season, and this is my 16-foot tripod deer stand. I forget the brand. Bought it last year at the last minute because I forgot to buy a deer stand, and then it was mid-deer season, and everyone was sold out everywhere in the United States, and so this is the only cheap thing I could get. Pretty good deal on it for a 16-footer, got it for $180, but I really only need a 10-foot stand. The legal minimum height for your muzzle here in my state is 10 foot. So I could really have an 8-foot stand, and as long as I'm sitting on a seat, you know, my muzzle's 2 foot above that, so that's 10 foot. But yeah, I ended up with a 16-footer, and it's got some issues. Well, first and foremost, way too tall, but there's nothing I'm going to do about that in this video. Theoretically, I could take about 3 foot off the height. I just come down here to the base, cut her off at about here, and about here on both sides, and then drop a piece of bar stock in there, cross bolt it, jam it up in there, cross bolt that, do that all the way around, and I could drop her down to about 13 foot, but that's more pain and effort than it's really worth, because I'm only getting about 3 foot out of that, plus probably going to rust out and break, so we're not doing that. But the other two major things that are wrong with this is the seat's terrible, and the armrest is horribly designed, not broad enough, not stable enough, and not tall enough. So, and there's no way to really attach anything to it. So I'm gonna climb up there real quick, take down this mesh from last year that's disintegrating, and I'm gonna show you what I mean when I say this thing is not ideal. All right, so here we are up here, and the first thing I want to talk about is this armrest, gun rest, whatever you want to call it. It is very stable and doesn't feel like it's going to collapse on you whenever you're using it. And it's also just super narrow, and there's not a place here to rest your elbows or a bipod or like anything to stabilize a shot. And I mean, I'm targeting about a 100-yard shot here over there at yonder bush. So, but I have up to nearly 600 yards range. Not that I can make a shot like that with buck fever. You know, 100 yard is, you know, 150 in that corner, maybe 200 on the other side of those trees. That is the maximum I am really going for here. I'm trying to keep everything, you know, about 100. But anywho, this guy is just, it is not adequate for that. So what I want to do is drop just some regular old lumber on here. Just drop a piece of decking lumber like this the whole way around up here, and then run some 2x4s down here probably on these outside corners like that up to here into the corner, and just bolt that to the bottom of the deck, and then bolt that, and then drop it right down there on the base, and then run a through bolt through the bottom and just torque it down, a big old lag bolt, and just add some stability and a top to this, and you know, also hose clamp them to the side of that, and you know, throw some kind of clamp up here to hold this, and we're gonna have little braces on either side of this so that the thing is attached to it and doesn't move, and that should make it way more rigid. Raise it up about an inch just with the decking lumber. Give me a full 5.5 inches instead of just half an inch to rest my support on. And if I want to add, say, a full blind, you know, run a frame up here, or I want to add any kind of blocks or sandbags or anything, do anything I need for stabilization up here, I can just bolt it right to the decking lumber, no worries. And like I said, if I want to do a full blind that covers my head, it's just a simple matter of drilling some holes and then getting like some metal rods or like some dowels, just putting a skirt on it, and I can just drop them down in there, you know, put a pin underneath each of it, and then, you know, just have like some paracord running around the top or something, and I can just drape, you know, a blind over the top of this, and that would be really good. That would be great. That would be much better than what I'm doing. So we'll go into that in detail in a minute. But just know that this thing is way too thin, way too short, and just not stable at all. So we need to do something about that without adding too much weight or complexity up here, or spending all that much money. Now, let's talk about this seat. First things first, all the fabric on this is super cheap. This hasn't even been up here a full year, and it's already totally UV destroyed. Additionally, the seat, it is literally just like not even an inch thick of foam, and that foam is already UV destroyed, and it is just sitting right here on a metal bar. Oh, here's the here's the bolt that mounts it in place. So yeah, the seat is just god awful. Does this. The bolt is right here. So when you sit, your tailbone is sitting right here on the bolt, directly on line with the seat, full weight, straight down, which also means you have no support for your thighs, so your weight is actually tipped forward, and the seat tips forward. So you're sitting here basically balancing on your feet and your tailbone. It's really uncomfortable, really painful, and I would like something that is designed for a human butt up here. So let me just show you like how this thing mounts real quick. So I'm gonna climb down there, and I'm not gonna do that while filming. That's the other thing, is this seat holds water, which is not great because you come up here and your butt's just wet instantly because we have super heavy dews. But anywho, the way this thing mounts is it is literally just one bolt through that plate with a nut. It's sitting on a little like Delrin rubber washer, and then that bolt is just sticking up the bottom of this pedestal, and that is it. It does have some mounting holes right here which just mirror this. You'd think those would be nicely lined up for like a swivel or something like that. They're not. This is like, that's maybe like 4 1/4 inch spacing. I don't think they make 4 1/4 swivels. I haven't checked, but 6 1/4. I think 6 1/4 is like the standard default. That and 7. So anywho, yeah, this is not great. It is disintegrating, and I think I'm actually going to maybe take this off. I don't know. We'll wait. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking to fix. I'm looking to fix this handrail, and I'm looking to fix this seat, and I think I got a way that I can fix that for not horribly expensive, but not really cheap either. So yeah, if you want my word of advice on these tripod deer stands, get the shortest one you possibly can. The only reason I ended up with a 16-foot is because I was trying to buy a deer stand in October, which yeah, that's not smart, and I paid more than I wanted to for this stand, and I got way more stand than I wanted, and the quality was way lower because I got literally the cheapest 16-foot tripod stand on the market. I think I paid 180 bucks for this after discount and whatnot, and yeah, I wanted to spend like 150 bucks on like a 12-footer, maybe a 10-footer. I would have gotten more quality for the money, probably not really, shaving that metal off of it and the shipping weight and all that stuff, but yeah, my recommendation is just spend $300, $400 on a good, like 12-foot tripod stand, and don't do anything I'm about to say. This is just me band-aiding my terrible decision-making skills at the last minute, and I'm paying the stupid tax on the procrastination, not preparing for deer season. So anywho, let me go show you what I've already got cooked up for the seat up there, and then additionally I'm actually running to the hardware store to go buy lumber to do what I want to do for the that guy up there. So also, I'm not really procrastinating right now, even though it's the second day of deer season and I'm doing this, because my deer rifle is off at the gunsmith getting the barrel thread. So yeah, I am procrastinating, but I'm not procrastinating on this because I don't have my deer rifle, so I can't hunt anyway. But anywho, I digress. We'll forget the fact that I have other guns. Well, I had to take some measurements, so I just went ahead and took the seat off so it wasn't in my way. And there's a brand. It's a TrueVision. So can't find these on the internet anymore, probably because they've been discontinued because they suck. Also, that's how much water was just inside the seat, so that's pleasant. All right, we got some lumber, so let's let this air dry for a couple weeks or months, and they get some wood working. Well, that's impressive. So here's what I've come up with for a replacement seat. It is literally the cheapest boat seat I could get off of Amazon. I think this sent me back 30 bucks. Used to be a lot cheaper, now they're not. But anywho, I just drilled some drain holes in it because it didn't come with drain holes for some reason. And then I bought the almost cheapest boat swivel I could buy off Amazon, which sent me back about 15 bucks. And I bolted that to the bottom of the seat, and then to the bottom of that boat swivel, I've mounted half of an old rusted out boat swivel that I pulled off of my boat when I got it, because I save all of my junk. But as you can see, I've got a couple of lock washers in there for spacing. And this old boat swivel, I just took an angle grinder because the top half had rusted and snapped off. Took an angle grinder, ground the pin down flush, drove it out with a punch. And so that leaves me a nice, about 3/8. Just a hair over 3/8. Hole in there that I'm hoping the bolt on the deer stand is going to fit through, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to drill it out. And before I put the boat seat on there and everything, I'm going to take these bolts back off. This is just here for test fitting, And we'll take this up to the deer stand, slap it down on there, and then I have this big boy washer, which is going to go in there for support. Unless it's too thick, then I'll take it out and just put a smaller washer in there. And then there's a lock nut that comes on the deer stand, and then that'll cinch all the way down as tight as it can go on that, and then I'll cut the top of the bolt off flush with the nut, and then that should hopefully fit in that about 3/4 inch gap that I have in here. This guy will be permanently mounted to the pedestal, on the deer stand, and that will act as a base support that will hold my fat butt up. And if I ever want to, I can add another support plate on here or something like that. But then we'll just take it and mount this guy on there like that, which is going to be fun to do while I'm sitting 16 foot up in a deer stand, so that's not ideal. But this will allow me to mount the boat swivel to the pedestal that I already have. It will probably elevate me another inch, maybe 2 inches above where the seat currently is, which is not ideal, but that's the hand you're dealt. However, the seat will be way more comfortable because my butt will be positioned here, but the pedestal will be here, but the support will still be distributed directly into the mount. And the seat leans back like that, so it'll have thigh support and all that stuff, so I'll be up there nice and comfy. Hopefully my feet will still be touching the ground. If they're not, I'll throw some boards up there or something, give me a footrest. So that should take care of the seat problem. So all I need to do is go up there, test fit, or pull the old seat off, test fit the pedestal, get everything trimmed up and ready. Trim these mounting bolts down here off, make sure everything clearances, go up, throw it up there, and then we'll be done with the seat. Alright, the wood's here. It's been drying out for about a week and a half now, and I also pulled some old treated plywood out of my wood pile, as well as all of the spare treated 2x4s that I have. I don't think I'm going to need any of those, nor do I really want to use them, but they're there just in case I need them. So current thought is I'm basically going to cut each one of these decking boards, because I got two 5 1/4 by 6 inch nominal 8 foot decking boards. I'm going to cut each one of those out of them. I'm going to cut a 42.5 inch board, another 42.5 inch board, do the same on the other one. And I'm going to arrange that those will all be at 45-degree angles, arrange those around into a square, and then that'll put the frame a little bit, just about the middle, a little bit on the inside. And then I'm going to take the scrap from each of those, and I'm going to slap that guy on the table saw and cut about 1 inch strips out of it. So just basically make square strips out of the thing, and I'm going to cut all those to about 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, maybe 12 inches on one of them. We'll see how it is. I think I'm going to do 6 inches just because I can cut them all the same length. I don't got to think about it. I think I'll need 16 of those, I think. That will give me supports that I can put on either side of the rail, so that the whole thing doesn't do this on top of the rail. It slurps on down, and it's got, braces all the way around, and I can take a little piece of like metal flashing or a piece of like 1/8 inch steel, drill a hole through one side, put a screw in it, and then I can turn it like that and lock it on the rail. I'll probably do that. And that'll allow me to secure it. And then I'm going to take these 2x4s, and I think I'm going to go with a full-on brace system for this thing, because why not? I'm going to cut each of those to, I forget what the height is, but I think it's just under 36 inches. So I'll cut 4 36-inch boards. And then I'm going to take that, and those will be the supports. So those will sit in the corner of the deer stand, just outside of where the current vertical rails are. And then I'll run a big 6-inch screw through the bottom with a fender washer on that, and that'll hold those boards to the frame. And then I'll drop the new handrail on, drill down into the top of that, and that'll hold that to the 2x4s, and that'll keep that from going anywhere. And additionally, to give me more arm room on the corners, I'm going to cut those guys up and basically make a little pentagon like that with a sort of barn roof shape on one end, and plop those in the corner, and that'll allow me to securely stabilize the handrail on all the corners. It'll allow me to lock it all together without having to do some weird complex thing underneath. And then I'm going to take the 2x4s, and I'm going to and then I will have a nice secure shooting platform. It'll just be slightly taller on the corners, and if I really want to, I can add another layer all the way around it, but that's just going to make it heavy. But anyway, that's my rough idea. So I'm going to let these guys dry out a little bit more, and then one day when it ain't raining, I'm going to wheel my woodworking cart out, cut everything up, and then I can mock it all up, frame it all together, get the little braces roughly aligned, haul that thing out to deer stand, lift it up with a rope, set it on there, make sure everything is lined up, fits, come back, do it all secure and fully built together, and then haul it back out there, mount it. I probably should put a chair on there first, and yeah, that's the plan. Alright, so I went ahead and I cut some lumber after I let it dry out for a bit, and I've already framed the thing together and put out some markings for the undermount support guide anti-wiggle doohickey jobbers, and that's what we're looking at. Ended up cutting it at 45-degree angles, 42.5 inches long. Just did the same thing the whole way around, and then I had these half-inch pieces of 10-inch by 48-inch plywood treated, and I just cut those into 12 by 10 pieces, and then just dropped them down on here. And because I didn't have 12 by 12, I just plopped them on there, eyeballed it, and just eyeballed it with the, miter saw, and just cut those at about a 37-degree angle, just so that, I have this little platform here on the corner. I don't know if I'm going to come back, and I still have some more plywood over there. I don't know if I'm going to come back and, fill that in just so that I have an even platform all the way around or not. Probably not, just because I don't want to add the weight or waste the plywood, but we'll see. I can always do that at a later date. Don't need to do that now. If I decide I need to do that in the future, I can just cut the boards, haul them up there with an impact gun and some screws, and just be done with it. At the moment, these are just held together with 6 screws. One here, and one here, and then repeated over there. And, this is pretty dang stable. Probably don't need to do anymore. We'll probably do another 2 screws or so. But I just went through and I just marked out 36.5 inches all the way around. And I took a 1-inch guide, moved it in, and I marked that out. So I'm going to put supports here and here, here and here, pretty much all the way around on all 4 corners. And I think, hopefully, these I can cut into 4s, and I got 2 of them. So we'll see how far we get. But I should just be able to just rip all of these into even 4-inch or even 4s. That's 5.5, so that'll be what is that? 2 3/4, and then rip that again to 1 3/8, except I'll be losing 8. So it'll end up being about 4 1 1/4 inch pieces, which should fill up this gap nicely. Run that all the way around, and I'm wondering if on the front, if I should leave this part here open and not put a guide on the inside, maybe just do a little tiny guide up here, and then I might want to cut this in at a 45-degree angle and just like route that out, maybe. Just so that I'm not putting an additional lip up here when I'm trying to get in and out of the stand that I hit with my back. Not certain yet. I'll figure that out when I get to it. But that's not a hard thing to modify. I just need to come in here with the reciprocating saw and just eyeball it. It's not super precise. I'm not a carpenter. It'll be funky, but that won't matter. Won't mess with the stability. So we'll see. But I think what I'm going to do now is go rip those real quick and then hook those on here. And I've also got the support legs cut. I guess I will try and mock those up on there. Not really certain. I think probably what I'll do is I'll get those on there, or at least the outer ones screwed in. Well, it's screws, it doesn't really matter. I can move them if I need to, but I think I'm going to put those in and then haul this out to the deer stand, pull it up with a rope, plop it down in there, make sure everything fits and that nothing needs to be adjusted. If it does, do so. Make marks, or basically trace the curves here on the outside, find out where those are, and figure out where I need to plop those boards in at. That curve is probably going to come in like this, so I'll probably need to stick the 2x4s right there on that corner. So we shall see, but that's my plan. Alright, well there that is. Forgot that I needed 16. Thought I only needed 8, so I only cut one of those 1x6s up. So just found another board, managed to get 6 out of it, but we just went with that on the back. I'm not going to be shooting out the back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be shooting out the right, or sorry, out the left or the back out of this thing. So just that side, that's all that really matters. But anywho, just put them 1 inch apart. Thankfully, I was also able to approximate the corners because I took the seat off and I realized, oh hey, this is the exact same steel bar stock bent on the same mandrel. So I was able to plot out the corners like that, and I got plenty of room in there. But anywho, I left that 1 inch, so it's a bit fat, so I got plenty of wiggle room. So when something doesn't line up, I can make it fit, and plenty of depth in there will. So really, what I'm going to be banking on is when I put those corners on. And I think I might just put them on there just because I have these corners mocked up really good. I'm planning to do basically like that, and then come in from the top with I was planning to do 3.5 inch screws, but I guess I'm going to do 6 inches now because I've got this extra 1/2 inch on top of there. But basically run those straight in like that, and then haul the thing up there, slap it right down on top of the thing, and then these will just kick in a little bit like that. I'll just run 1 or 2 6-inch screws with some big fender flare washers on there through the mesh down in here, and that should clamp it on there pretty good. But that's what I'm going for, basically making a table. So yeah, if this doesn't work out, I'll have a free table, so that's cool. All right, there that is, and even works as a table. Nice. So I've already tested it out. I climbed up there, just locked both wrists up there and just swung my legs all over the place. And even with 200 pounds of fat redneck on it, it didn't even move at all. So it is rock solid. Let me take my beer off. So that should support me just fine. Now the only question is this going to overload the stand? I don't think so. This only weighs like 50 pounds, maybe 60 pounds. And I'm sure there's people who are pushing 350 who use those deer stands. And I am very much not doing that. So I think this should be more than plenty. My only worry is it might just blow the stand over in the middle of a hurricane. But yeah, I've got those big 2-foot stakes holding the thing in the ground that came with it. But we shall see. But I guess all I really need to do now is go put this seat up in the stand and then get a rope, haul this thing up there, position it up there, lock it in, and hopefully everything fits, and then I can just kind of bend these legs in a little bit, run some big 6-inch screws up in the bottom of them. I also have access to these big old fat boy like T40 lag screws, but I don't really have a good T40 bit for that, but we'll see. I can use those if I need to. And yeah, that's my thoughts. One other thing I do want to try and do is underneath here on these guys that I have, I at least on the back and I guess these 2 front ones, I want to make some kind of locking device. It would probably be best if I could do all of them if I can figure out something, but I think if I get like a 2-inch piece of plate steel, like some 14 gauge or something like that, if I've got anything. What is this? That's too thick. Here, something like this. That's close enough. If I can get a piece of steel like this, drill a hole in one side right there, maybe in about 1/4 inch, just enough to fit a deck screw through, and just get it nice and snug, and then I can cut one of these, or bend one of these corners up, like, well, you know what I mean. Bend it up so that I have a little dog ear, and I can mount it on here like this, and then I can just rotate it 180 degrees like that, and it'll be in here holding everything together. And if I really wanted to get fancy, I could have the hole mounted like here, so it swings all the way over here, and have a second hole over here that I can run up into here or something like that. But I think I might just make 7 of those if I have enough metal lying around, so that I can just plop it down on there and just have something I can just go swoop, 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 and just have the whole thing positively locked in without having to fiddle with any kind of like cotter pin system. All right, new seats up there. That was fairly painless. Now it's time to somehow get this up there. Well, that was way more dangerous than anticipated, but I basically just hauled it up with a rope and then had to do some gymnastics. That boat seat is nice and comfy, but it does not leave any room up there for wriggling around, so that is a problem. Don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but I'm not getting rid of the boat seat and I ain't taking that back down. However, we have hit a problem, and that is that right there. I accidentally made these ones on the, I forgot that these were offset like that, and I also forgot about the bolts. So I made these outer ones, or I left them longer, and I actually needed to cut those to the same length as the other ones. I knew I should have just done that. That was a last minute change. So anyway, I'm gonna grab the impact gun and climb back up here and take those off, and then maybe I have a handsaw in the truck. Maybe I'll trim those and then run the bolts back into it, but should be able to at least slap it back down, but I gotta pull those off real quick. Well, we hit the dew point and the humidity is now 100%, and I am soaked to the bone from doing a whole lot of nothing. But using a little bit of creative engineering, managed to pull those off and just moved them down a bit. And then I also got all the bolts down in the bottom. And so this is a way better rest. Way more stable. The whole rest of the deer stand still does this though. So still not great. Would I say that this is worth the $100 I saved on the deer stand? No, God no. I probably have spent close to 60, 70 bucks doing this, and this chair still has tons of wobble in it because it's only got one point holding it up. It's kind of, it is what it is, but it's way more comfortable at the very least, and I can do that, which I couldn't do before. But yeah, this right here is the real deal. This is up about another inch, and my seat is down probably a good, well, it's about the same height, but it's a better angle for my legs. It's not whatever it was before. I can actually lean back. I can put my weight on the back of the seat. I don't have to sit forward like this. It's good. It's great. All right, it's been a couple days, and I thought of a couple other things I need to do. One, I'm gonna paint it because it looks ugly, stands out. I'm not gonna go full on paint it black, probably, mostly because I have to stand up here in the sun and do it. And also, I'm gonna pull that seat off and see if I can just mount it at the base plate, because it's well, let me show you real quick. So it ain't working. That bolt is not holding it in place. So what I'm hoping I can do is pull this sucker off of here, pull these guys apart, and then take a Sharpie and mark this all the way around with these bolt holes, and just drill some holes in here and just run some through bolts through it, and keep this from doing that, hopefully. Look at that tiny little truck down there. Anyway, we're up here, and I just burnt through, I think, about 2 full cans of spray paint. I had 2 in like a quarter, and I've just spray painted everything with the cheapest black spray paint my dad could buy like 20 years ago. And yeah, that's got the desired effect I wanted. Now, I did this for 3 reasons. One, I wanted to be, you know, a little bit more camouflage, so it's not just a bright, obvious chunk of fresh, you know, treated lumber up here in the sky. So it all just kind of blends into the dark foliage behind me. 2, I wanted to get at least some amount of paint on here, just to cover up the raw wood, just to help it last a little bit longer, as well as soak into the ingrain and just slow down the rot a little bit. I did go and use treated lumber because it ain't gonna last very long. It is up here in the middle of the sky, but you know, I'm gonna be leaning against it. I don't want it just like suddenly rotting and falling apart. And 3, my cousin, who I have hunting rights from, I don't want her to show up at my door and say, "Get that ugly piece of shit out of my damn hayfield." So I painted it so it's not as horribly ugly, and doesn't at the very least stand out when you're going down the road. And now there's a very important reason why I did this up on the deer stand and not down on the ground, and that's because I forgot. Fully intended to paint this, and then I put it up here, and when I was in the process of lifting, I went, I was supposed to paint this one night. So yeah, that's the reason for that. Definitely do this on the ground. Not ideal trying to paint this while up here. Now I'm gonna go work on that seat. I'm starting to wonder if the boat seat is not ideal. I may have to move that to my boat. Shocking. But I'm wondering if it might be better if I just come out here and put some cross braces around the back like this, and then just drop, you know, maybe drop a sheet of plywood down here on the bottom and then plop a lawn chair up here. It may actually be a better idea. Something, because as it stands, it's really hard to get up in this stand. And I think I would be much better off if I had a chair that I could push back into the corner. And if I've got something running, you know, about 18 inches, 12 inches off the ground, probably 18 inches off the ground all the way around, I won't feel like I'm going to just fall out of the stand all the time. And yeah, but I'll think about that. That's a later date thing. We'll see how well this boat seat works out. The boat seat's very comfortable. It works perfectly. It's just this thing is tight. And I wanted to bring this in because I needed this armrest closer as well as farther out. I didn't really have much room to push it out any further. But it's tight getting up in here. It wouldn't matter if I cut this out because that's only like a foot wide. And my fat ass is like probably close to 2 foot wide. 20 inches wide. So yeah, we'll see, but I'm gonna go work on that real quick and then haul it back up. Should just be drilling 4 more holes in that plate and then hucking it back up here and torquing the piss out of it and then throwing it back on here. And I'm probably gonna grab a lock washer to throw underneath here. I think I've got just enough thread on there, and we'll see how that works. All right, let's see if I can get the white balance right. That's probably good, but that's got the desired kind of vaguely camo effect going on, and as that dries and that paint sucks into the wood unevenly with the grain, I think that's going to look perfect. It's going to have a fairly natural dark kind of camo pattern going on to it, which is exactly what I was going for. And it's going to have love bugs stuck all up inside of it, so that'll be cool too. All right, well there that is. I just drilled out holes and ran some more bolts in it. I had all these free bolts that I got from some casters that I ended up having to put on with wood screws, so that worked out perfectly. And just ignore that guy right there. It didn't quite line up, and these are from, let's just say these ain't grade 5s. So just ignore that. Additionally, I had just enough spray paint that I was able to camouflage the back of it a little bit, and then I ran out before I could get to do the back of the backrest. But it's close enough, got the sides at least. So that just helps keep that from standing out, but my fat butt's gonna fill all this up, so that doesn't really matter. Didn't really need to do that, but I did kind of want to get that up there, but plumb out. So yeah, let's get down off this thing before I fall. All right, well we're back up in the deer stand, and I decided to grab some scrap wood, just some scrap 1x4s, and I just painted that up real quick, and I'm gonna bolt these guys on here real quick, and hopefully it's not right at knee level. I guess I'm gonna go for something a little bit below knee height, like right about there, so that my feet don't hit it and my knees don't hit it, and hope for the best. All right, well, that's been done. Probably should have routed these edges before I did that. Good thing I don't have a battery powered router, so that'll just stay like that forever. And yeah, those are very sharp edges. All right, there she is. That took several hours and probably cost me 70 bucks worth of supplies, but it's done. Was it worth it? For me, sort of. For you, definitely not. Save up your money. Buy one of them $300, $400 stands with a box on top of it that's like 12 foot tall. Don't get a 16 foot tall one with a POS seat, POS guard up on top. Yeah. But anywho, I'm done with it, and I'm going to try this out, and we'll see how well it does. It's definitely going to be way better than what it was before. But hopefully that boat seat works out. If not, I'm going to pull that whole pedestal and I'm just going to throw like a camp chair up there, and then I can just pull it up and down as I come in and out of it as I please. I still got to get a new blind. All my blind material from last year is just gone. Yeah, I need to do some sort of like canopy over the top so I can like drape a blind over the top of it and have more of a backdrop, so I'm not up against the sky if something's real close. You know, from a distance I'm going to be back. You know, this is the shot angle I'm expecting, but way the hell over there. So I'm gonna have plenty of stuff behind me. It's just a matter of making myself blend into the background. So I think as long as I dress right, and hopefully if I can get something over the top of me, and I'm probably gonna be hunting in the morning for the most part because it's hot as sin, and so I'll have the sun right there behind me, so I'll have plenty of contrast. Should work out just fine, but I think I am gonna try and do some kind of blind over top of it. I'm at least gonna do something around the bottom so I can move my feet around. And yeah, stuff like that. If you like this kind of stuff, go down there, give the video a like, comment, tell me what other improvements I could do other than, you know, adding some kind of blind to it. And if you want to see more of this redneck jury rigging sort of stuff, this is the channel for you, so go down there, smash the big red button. Until next time, I'm out.